Hello everybody and welcome to the video! Now, the internet is a wonderful place where you can go and have an argument with someone without leaving the comfort of your own home. In this video, I'm going to respond to some commenters on Bernadet Banners video linked in the description. Now, in the comment section, I suggested that you should use a ballpoint pen in order to teach yourself how to sketch. However, other commenters said, no, pencils rule! So in this video, I will give you my 2 cents on the topic and possibly clarify a few things for the people in the comment section. Welcome to the Bernadet Studio. Now, before we start, Bernadet, this is not a critique of you at all. I really do enjoy content and I really wish I had your design and drawing skills. This is a critique to the people in your comment section, not you. Anyway, in the video in question, Bernadet Banners sketched and rendered a dress that she may or may not sew up in the future. Now, when she sketched it, she threw everything on the paper. Pencils, watercolor, marker, not markers, I lied, sorry, but a few tea leaves. And the finished product amazing! Now afterwards I suggested in the comment section that people should do what every student at any half-decent design college should do, and that is learn how to sketch and draw using a ballpoint pen or some other type of permanent medium. However, people commented and said, no! That will scare people off! Don't do it! Erasers are fantastic! Yes, that's how I read people on the internet. You all sound like that. Now, another disagreement I saw with Bernadette's process is that it's slightly flawed. Now, don't get me wrong, there are loads of ways of producing concepts for a final product, and also there are varying traditions within different industries. And of course, every designer has their own style. However, for maximum efficiency, creativity and emotional health, Bernadette's design process may need a little upgrade. Now, to answer the questions in this video, we need to define a few things. When designing something in a production scene, when the final image isn't the final product, you are never drawing. You are sketching and rendering. Sketching is the initial process where you try out different ideas and solutions. In this case, we will define it as a quick process where you generate as many ideas and forms under as short of time as possible. Why it needs to be quick is because in a professional setting, you are constantly under pressure from both colleagues and clients to produce. So to give everyone involved a good working environment, you need to have the capability of producing loads of concepts under a short period of time in order for people to have loads of choices before going on to the next step in the production. Now, for the sketching process, I personally and every teacher at every half-decent design school will point out that using a pencil is a flawed process. Why? Well, when you draw normally the way you did when you were little, the option of regret is a good way to ruin your drawing. Probably everyone can remember what your drawings used to look like after about 15 attempts of drawing one single line, erasing every time. The paper is so bumpy and so ugly that it starts looking like a piece of abstract art, and every attempt of coloring in your drawing will just highlight all your flaws. Yes, critics, using a pen at first may seem a bit intimidating. But I promise you, you will find out that using a pencil is a severely inferior method of working after a while. Now, you may ask yourself, hey, won't it make it hard to make changes to your drawings? And yes, it will. And also, that's the point. By not having the option to change immediately, you give yourself the option to finish whatever you are working on. This will give you a clear picture of where you're heading, and also you will see all the flaws and all the touch-ups you will need to make for the next sketch. Now, do you see what's happening here? Doing this for multiple sketches, you are not just drawing or sketching, you are designing. So instead of producing one sketch of lackluster quality that you have spent way too much time on and still isn't happy with, you have instead produced lots of sketches, giving you loads of options to go forward. Also, sketching, drawing or painting can be incredibly draining both mentally and physically, because this does require a lot of concentration. Also, on top of that, when presenting your sketches to colleagues or clients and they say that they don't like what you have in mind, a flawed sketching technique also becomes emotionally draining, since now you don't have the time or energy to produce another lackluster concept with bumps and wrinkles and you just feel like a failure. So learning how to sketch properly is a must for anyone wanting to go into design. And this brings us to my second complaint with the commenters in the video. Now this goes without saying, the less time you spend on something, the less emotional investment you have in that thing. Kill your darlings is a concept every single designer needs to take to heart, because either you or others will always find something wrong with your design. Too complicated production method, not strong enough, wrong color, you name it. So with this in mind, it does make sense to become a fast concept producer and never ever invest too much time in either one process or one design. Now this is that one thing that Miss Banner does incorrectly. Now it does need to be said that I do not dislike Miss Banner or her design skills. She did also say in her video that this is for personal use only and not for public consumption. However, in the video she spent, from what I can tell, an enormous amount of time producing a really pretty production sketch of something she may or may not produce later, with a very textured background, extremely detailed main sketch and a complicated method of watercolor that, in my opinion, is only appropriate if the final picture was the final product. Now you may ask yourself, hey, can't we use pencils in the rendering process? And I will say, no. So even here I suggest that you do not use any erasable medium. Now this is mostly a question of representation. Remember, draw, erase, image looking haggard. Also, I personally find that using pens or colored pencils will also improve the line quality of your final product, since these pens doesn't grab the paper as much. Of course, this is the murkier area of this video, since there are a lot of ways to render an image, and some methods are more appropriate than others for different applications. And of course the designer's own preferred process comes into play here. Fun fact, markers were developed because watercolors can be a really slow process and isn't really appropriate when you're trying to work quickly. Which is why markers are the product designer's favorite tool for rendering. Fashion sketching can be a little different, since it can be a little bit easier to produce a feeling of flowing fabric with watercolors than it is with markers. Point of all this is that the sketch you are producing isn't very important. No one will care if you make a pretty image. Sure, you will impress your friends and family, but the industry people will not care if you can't produce. And even if you're sketching something that you and only you will try to produce, don't do any over-elaborate production sketches, because the same feelings of failure is still present in your own home when something goes wrong. With that in mind, I will suggest to anyone wanting to go into design that this type of rendering is only appropriate for training purposes. As a reference, here's a couple of sketches from Karl Lagerfeld and Christian Dior. As you can see, these are not very overworked sketches, but you can still see the form and you can still produce the final garment from them. And also here's my version of Bernadette's sketch that can still be used for production. Number 1. Learn how to sketch properly. Using a permanent medium is beneficial since it forces you to design and not to draw. Number 2. Learn how to kill your darlings. You may love everything you do, the people paying for it may not. Number 3. Learn how to render with a minimal amount of effort. A good design is more important than a pretty image. And Bernadette, I love your content and I wish I had your sewing skills, so please don't take this video the wrong way. And also, as a final note, none of what I just said in this video can be taken as gospel. If you find that I am wrong or that the process I am suggesting isn't for you, then that's okay. See this video only as recommendations for someone who wants to go into design and not as gospel. That's it from me. Join me next time when I will be doing something completely different. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe down below so you don't miss anything, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye. Of course, you could just mitigate all this by doing it digitally. Damn it!